I'm Ant, play drums in Dead Harts.
And I'm Pask, and I play guitar in Dead Harts. We've mainly been touring for a large part of this year. We did a little run in Europe with Beartooth, and what else did we do?
What have we been doing? We went out with Beartooth lads, and then we did like a huge Live Nation back push at end of last year for that Download Freeze Over. And then that took us up to Christmas, and then this year we've been writing. We've just done our tour cycles for this year started a few weeks ago with Bury Tomorrow, and then we come off that, and then Devil Soul is Soul, which is part of this, so we're still on that tour now. And we've got a little bit of time off, and it's Beartooth again, and then that includes festivals, done it, and then so we've got like this chunk, and then it'll be back to writing, like start demoing and sampling, and then be next chunk. So it's like kind of split the year into three, so we're kind of in like the first third of it really.
Well, they've stood out for different reasons. I think at the end of last year we did the Download Freezes Over tour. We got to the point where we were writing the doldrums, you know. But since then, things have just picked up for us. We've started writing new music. We're feeling really good about that, and obviously the tour cycle and the people we've toured with this year
Definitely.
they've just plucked us from what seemed like an abyss that we were in.
There was a lot going on. It was a very, for us personally, it was a very misplaced tour for us to be on. I think if somebody said, okay, we haven't got anything to put samples through, or we haven't got a large enough desk, on that tour we were the only bands that could have played. Which, when you're kind of rough and ready like us, it's a little bit strange. We respect people that do that. If you want to do that, it's a skill. I couldn't do it personally. I can't play to a click. I'm barely a musician. But it's like, so there were little things like that, so we felt out of place, and then we had personal things going on. It was near Christmas, it was really bad. We had a very close friend die halfway through the tour, so that was back in Sheffield, couldn't go to the funeral. It was all sorts. It was a low point for us. This year's just been, we couldn't ask better. We had a bit of a reflection point over Christmas. It was like, are we actually going to carry on with this? Is this something we want to do? And then we just all met up, and we expected to meet up and just everyone be like, right. And we all thought we'd be at loggerheads. Couldn't be more opposite, could it? No. Just albums, like, well, won't say album because we haven't discussed the next release yet, but it's, you know what I mean, it's well on the way. We write in, stage performances got better. We've all actually just gone away and actually learned how to play better, I think, singularly. So it's like, it took a lot of time, but it took us to kind of hit bottom to kind of realise, all right, I've got to kind of get a bit better at this now. Yeah. So it's been a learning curve. Definitely.
So it's weird how 6 months can make all the difference, you know. We've gone from a fractured group of lads who just didn't know whether, you know, it was time to just call it a day, to a more unified group of 4 dudes who were just ready to just pile drive straight into whatever comes next, you know. So we're dead excited now. We've started writing our 3rd full length, and it feels good up to now. We're practicing in the same place we've always practiced. The writing style is exactly the same. We've not changed anything. The only thing that's changed is we've not got a full-time bassist. So I'm now learning how to play 2 instruments. So I'm basically playing guitar and bass and just running my guitar through an octave pedal into a bass rig. So we're now a 4-piece instead of 5. So the writing has changed to a degree, but it's not changed a lot, has it? It's still us. It's still very much us, and it's very.
I mean, when I joined, it was like the first time that you'd had like a full-time drummer, weren't it? Mm-hmm. So it's like even now, like, so you added me into it, then you added Dom into it because we were Pask and Bags to start with, and then now because Pask's also doing the bass parts, it's almost like in a weird way kind of getting that back, because we've got full control over that now as well. So it's like it makes everything better. And also when it comes down to touring, it means there's one less person to find a bed for. It means there's more food for me. There's more booze for me. Past like I'll let you have some. Then so it's actually made things a lot easier. So yeah, the new stuff sounded mental in it.
It's
different.
It's different. It is different. It's still, you can still definitely hear us because we've never been anything different apart from raw, simple music. You know, it's heavy. and you know that's and we just enjoy playing it on stage. It's got to still allow us to just throw ourselves about basically. So it's never going to be particularly technical, but it allows us to express ourselves in other ways on the stage.
Just backs will be getting in your face, definitely. Yeah, I didn't think of the week where he was. I think he had somebody shoe in his mouth. I think I don't know what that were about. He just kind of goes, somebody's shoe me that. Bax is really commanding, but not in like a rude way. It's like you have to make this half hour count. Like you've got to do something because this venue took money off you, and you're just going to stand there with your arms folded. It's not going to cut it. You've got to get on this stage and you've got to kick off as much as I am. And he explains it, but I think a lot of time it does come across as just like he does get in people's faces. But like as a unit, it's just carnage, isn't it? Really? Yeah. It's just like I said, we write music that allows us to do that live. Because if we were like fucking blast beats and shit, we wouldn't be able to cut loose as much as we do. So we always keep that in mind when we're writing.
Well, it's the same. It's the same as we've always been. Basically, we've been doing it for 6 years now. So it's with Dead Harts, we've been doing it for 6 years now, and it's never been a different recipe. It's always been the same. We get on stage because the music's relatively simple. We just smash it about, and instruments get thrown around. Usually, Bax is hanging upside down off a ceiling somewhere, and as Ant says, Bax is learning to sort of command the room, but at the same time, it's by persuading the people that they're not just there to stand there with their arms folded. They've paid money to get in here, so just express yourself.
I just want them to enjoy it as much as we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Genuinely enjoy playing. Like I said, we're going back to what we said about last year. There was a time last year where it was like, okay, get on, play a half hour, go home, get to the hotel, sit down, same tomorrow. And it was like, because we played that much, it was just like, it was just a continuous circle of just like this lifestyle. We weren't enjoying it, but now this year it's like we've gone back to basics, and it's just like we genuinely enjoy it, and we're back to what we were doing when we were kids. And when we're playing to kids, it's like, right, this is what we were doing when we were kids, so like we want you to just genuinely have as much fun as what we do. So